happens is that it's an education for both the consumers, the merchants. By the time somebody comes to your shop 2 or 3 times and asks you, do you have a POS I can make payment? And you say, no, the guy walks off. You, the merchant, will go now and start looking for the POS.
Indeed.
So it's something that, by the time you hit the critical mass, it becomes something that everybody will pick up.
Okay, so let's get back to the issue of the unbanked. What's your statistics at the CBN in terms of, to borrow Mr. Amena's choice of word, in terms of penetration to the rural areas? What's the statistics we have? What percentage of Nigerians actually have a bank account? Because if we have an idea of that number, it will give an indication of the volume of amount of money that is still under some people's pillows and mattresses.
Thank you very much. Actually, we have the statistics. There is an organization known as EFINA, as Enhancing Financial Innovation and Access, that conducted the statistics. They've done it twice. They did it in 2010, and by that statistics, it showed that about 43% of Nigerians are financially excluded. When they did it in 2012, it had reduced to 39.4. And they are currently doing that of 2014 because they do it every 2 years. So when the statistics come out, we look forward to further reduction. But apart from that, Central Bank, as the Apex Bank, also has its financial inclusion strategy. And the financial inclusion strategy is that we are looking at making it possible that by the year 2020, the total percentage of those that will be financially excluded will not be more than 20% in access to credit.
Take
financial
2020,
services.
2020.
So it makes it easy to remember. Yes, that is our strategy. So, and there is no doubt that if we continue at the rate at which we are currently going, we may even surpass that target.
Now, so that being the case, then, do you think there is a lot of pressure on young bankers to go out and just get as many people to sign up to a bank account? Because I've been with a number of young people who are bankers who are being recruited to go out and open new bank accounts, go to markets, go everywhere possible. But the amount of pressure that is on them at times could be overwhelming.
You are right. But the truth about that is that the pressure on marketers, as they are called, is not really for financial inclusion purposes. It is to have those big
high net worth.
Yes, the high net worth individuals. So when you talk of financial inclusion, the pressure is, like we said earlier, those that are at the bottom of the pyramid, those who may not actually think that they need a bank account, probably because of their level of income, probably because of their location. Because that research that I referred to shows that the reason why some people do not actually patronize financial institutions for any of their services is because of the proximity. If you live in an area where you need to enter a bus or take a train or whatever, anywhere in Nigeria you take a bus and you have to pay about 100, 200 naira to get to the nearest point, you will be discouraged. You would rather prefer, as you said, to keep that money under your pillow.
Yes.
But if there is proximity, you can quickly walk to maybe to the nearest agent of a financial institution, maybe next door or on your street, then you'll be encouraged.
Now, Mr. Mano, what lessons did the CBN learn from having this policy, from implementing this policy in 6 locations first, and then rolling it out on the 1st of July nationwide? What lessons did it learn so that it probably would penetrate faster, having had the 2-year start in 6 areas first?
Yeah, first of all, we clearly understood that it's an initiative that people would like to embrace. We also understood part of the challenges that we experienced in those other states, and as we speak, we've tried to rectify some of them. Like my colleague had mentioned, we noticed that it may be difficult to depend entirely, for example, on the telcos, because there are certain areas that they don't really, have stuff there. But working with NICOMSAT, for example, we know that they have the capability of deploying satellite in all the local governments in this country. And we are actively working with them. And we know they can deliver better connectivity, for example. We also know that, excuse me, from those other states, we also know that there are certain segments of the populace that you need to address specifically. We had a three-pronged approach to sensitization. We had, like I said, we had the what we call engagement sessions with the organized private sector, and then we have the grassroots sensitization, where we engaged, where they had demonstrations, how these things work with the lodgers, with the market leaders, with all those kind of people, so that that helped us with our sensitization efforts going forward. And just like we also mentioned here, we know that we need to continue to sensitize the people. And then the way we had done these 30 states was actually based on the experiences we got from the last one. So in terms of sensitization, yes. In terms of improving the connectivity and communication, yes. And these are the kind of stuff that we've tried to do in these 30 states.
Okay, what about demand for POS machines? Is it higher? Are people, retailers now looking for POS machines more than before?
Yeah, it's higher. It's higher. Before the commencement of cashless, in fact, specifically as of December 2011, we had less than 15,000 POS machines because there was no attraction, there was no motivation. But as we speak, more than 180,000 POS machines. Yes.
From 15,000 to 180?
180,000. And in fact, the target is that before the end of this year, the number of POS machines in Nigeria should be about 200,000. And we are even migrating from the tabletop. It is still allowed, but there's what you now call MPOS, that's the mobile POS, which you can attach to either your phone or your iPad, and you just slide your card, press your PIN, and the transaction is done. So that is also coming into the system, and the number of active POS is also increasing. Yeah, it is on the increase, and that even on POS alone, each day the transaction on it is about 3 billion each day from the statistics we get. So it is on the increase. People have actually embraced cashless. I'm sure Nigerians love it.
Okay, so as part of ways we will need to begin to wind down now, but when we look at this issue of those who are not able to use a banking service, what is CBN doing to encourage, to support, and to empower banks to open branches in remote areas? There are places in Ondo State, in Ekiti State, in your state that are so remote, it will take ages before you find any cash point or any ATM. So those people will definitely not want to keep their money in banks, knowing that you have to go to Ibadan to go and use a bank and then come back, or is saying what will be the basis? What are you doing to encourage banks to open, even if it's just one small room in a place that will work?
Thank you very much. Yes. We know that the reason why banks don't have branches all over the country, one of the reasons is because of the cost. Because setting up a brick and mortar branch costs a lot of money. So what Central Bank has done in engagement with the industry is to issue a guideline or agent banking. We call it agent banking and agency relationship. Not only for the deposit money banks, but even the mobile money operators, even the microfinance banks, such that they can appoint individuals, pharmacists, shops in the locality to provide banking services to the people. In that case, they are not going to incur huge costs to set up those agents.
Does that happen anywhere in Nigeria?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. In fact, we have mobile. In fact, if you go out now, I can assure you that if you go out, before you get to that street, you will see an agent of one of the mobile money operators. I don't want to mention names so that I will not do unsolicited advertisements. But you will see. You say mobile agent for.
Yeah.
And in fact, we are even working with the telcos. They have a very wide spread network. So we are working with some of them to use these there are people that sell recharge cards. If they can use them as